very stormy day in Bloemfontein. As you can see, today we are tackling comprehension tests. This is the second part in our series. And of course, this one has to do with analyzing the questions. So let's take a look at what to do when you need to analyze the questions of a comprehension test. And they are as follows. Right, let's first look at the type of questions that we can anticipate. Right, one, and it says here, after you have read the text of the comprehension, which obviously is where you've got to start when you are answering a comprehension test, then you must make sure that you understand the questions as well as you understand the text. Now, here you see there are three categories of questions. The first one is lower order. Now, this is the, shall we say, the easiest category. The answers to these questions are all there in the text. You merely have to look at the text and you're going to find the answers. And here are some examples of the words that you are going to encounter. You've got their why, you've got their what, all right? You have their when, and you have where, and you have who, and you have how, and you have list. Now, all of those things will lead you into lower order questions. They are the basic ones. Let's take a look at some slightly more tricky types of questions. Here we come to the middle order questions. And as you can see, it says here, these questions need you to interact with the text to work out the answer. So you can't just lift the answer directly from the text. You have to do some thinking. And here are some examples of middle order questions where it says explain, okay, and compare. Note that compare. In what ways are they different or similar? Okay, and then identify. You are picking out person, a thing, whatever. You're going to identify something. All right, then we go to higher order. Now, here, these ones require you to create something to add to the question for your answer. So it says here, they need your logical input to justify your opinion or your reaction to something. And here are a couple of examples of these. Do you think that Tabu's action was justified in the circumstances? Or you could say, do you agree or disagree with this statement? Okay, we are spending too much time at school every day. Okay, and then justify or substantiate means you have to give a reason for your answer. So it's not just agree or disagree, but you must explain why you agree or disagree. So there we are. Then, now that we've looked at this, there's a final one here. Discuss. This is investigate by reasoning or argument. In other words, just using logic to make sure that your answer is complete. Moving on, this is now how to study a complex question. Now, please note, you don't have to study every single question in a comprehension test. Some of them are very basic. You just take a look at them and, well, we'll look at an example of one shortly. But here it is. It says here, read the questions carefully, making sure that you understand them fully. Okay, now that's perfectly straightforward. But now, how do you do this? And here's the method. First, you look at, are there any factors that limit the scope of your answer? And an example of that, here I've given it to you, refer to paragraph 4, or answer in your own words. These are limiting factors. Then you identify the task word in the question. We've already looked at many task words, things such as who, what, when, why, justify, compare. All of those are the task words. Then you read the content words. The content words are basically the rest of the question, and that gives you a whole idea of what is required of you in order to answer that question. Now, let us take a look here. I've got some examples of questions, and let's take a look at them. Now, here's the first example. Why did the chicken cross the road? Let's take a look at analyzing this question. In my opinion, it doesn't even need analyzing, but let's take a look why. First, are there any limiting instructions? No. Okay. Where's the task word? The task word is why, right? Straightforward enough. Okay, so you're going to need the reason. But the reason for what? Why the chicken crossed the road. And there we are. You've just analyzed a question. See that? Perfectly logical. Let's take a look at another one. Now, this one's more tricky. In your own words, compare chickens to guinea fowl. Okay, this one's going to be slightly more complex, so let's take a look. We have a limiting instruction here, own words, right? You're not allowed to just copy this from the text, right? So that's what it means, can't copy from the text. Let's go on. What is our task word? And the task word is compare. And if you think back to when we looked at this, it says you look for the similarities and the differences. Always when you encounter the word compare, it's a two-part exercise that you have to do. Then compare, okay, there it's differences, similarities. And then your content words, chicken, chickens, and guinea fowl. That's it. Okay, so in your own words, compare chickens to guinea fowl, and you are going to make sure that you describe the similarities and differences without referring to the text because it's in your own words. Let's take a look at some more. Here's more examples of questions. Here we are. We've got this question here. Refer to paragraph 3, list the main causes of the accident. Okay, so let's analyze it. What's your limiting instructions? Paragraph 3. Okay, easy. You got to go to paragraph 3. You can't look anywhere else. What's the task word? You have to list. Okay, also perfectly straightforward. You'll have to also it's 3 factors. So you can't just list one, because if you look at the mark allocation, you're going to have to list 3 things. Okay, and then finally your content words, causes of accident. Right, also looks quite straightforward. Let's do a final one. This one. What color was Andrew's shirt? And how to analyze this? It doesn't need to be analyzed. It's perfectly straightforward. You are simply looking for a one-word answer, which is the color, whether it was white, whether it was black, whether it was blue, whether it was green, whether it was yellow, whatever. You are just simply looking for a single color. And there we are. People, that's all I have for you today. But don't go away yet, because I've got this really enjoyable little task for you to do. There we are. I encourage all of you, give it a try. It's a very simple little multiple choice test, and I'm sure all of you who try it are going to get full marks for it. To you all, I say thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, and see you again next week.